In this video, I'm going to teach you how to find, save, check, and crop a swatch so that it is ready to be used in your rendering. Now, there's a lot of different places that you can get swatches to use in renderings, such as manufacturers' websites, or even websites that do nothing but produce swatches that are intended to be downloaded and used in digital rendering software. But in the absence of those, if you just want a quick swatch to get a feel for how a material might look, the easiest place to start is just an internet search. And so if you go to, for example, Google, I'm going to go ahead and click on this image tab up here to refine my search. And I'm going to do a search for pink linen, and I'm going to add swatch to the end of that. And when I add the word swatch to the end of my search, then all of a sudden I get more results that look like these flat square images, which will work better for me than having something that looks like a bow tie or has this little swirl here or something like this. So we always want to have swatches because they're nice straight on flat views. Now, I have a ton of images here that I can choose from, but I actually want to refine my search just a little bit more. So I'm going to click on this settings button here, and I'm going to do an advanced search. Now, this allows me to control the size so that I have really nice high resolution images. So I'm going to drop down and hit large. Now you can see if I scroll down here, there's really high resolution ones. And these dimensions indicate the length and width of the swatch itself. Now, a lot of these will work, but I'm trying to strike that balance between a really good quality image and something that's not so large that it's going to slow down SketchUp eventually when I import it. So I'm going to hit this large button, and then I'm going to go to this advanced search. And you can see here, there's, again, a lot of options here. I'm going to go ahead over to this one and click. So you can see here, it's a really nice, big, high quality image. And as I start to right click to save the images, you can see here, it's saving as this WebB type. And we really want it to be a JPEG. So what I want to do is navigate to the page until I can get as large of a quality image as I can. So I'm going to click on this button here, which is going to give me this nice big swatch. And then I'm going to right click again. And if I hit save image, I'm still going to get that same file type that I don't want. So instead, what I'm going to do is copy the image. I'm going to open it up in PowerPoint, and I'm going to hit Control V for paste. Now you can take a look at this image, and if there's anything that you needed to crop out, like there was a label, for example, or some part of it that you didn't want to show, you can go to the Format tab, hit Crop, and then you can start to adjust these things so that the image itself is the very best version that you need. Once you have it here, then you can right-click it and you can save as a picture. And now it will go straight to something that we can work with, which will be either a PNG file or a JPEG file. And then all we need to do is just make sure that we save it in the right place. In this case, we're going to save it in our module folder for swatches for our dining room. And I'm going to label this as chair upholstery, because if we don't change the names of our images, then we'll have a bunch of repeats and that'll cause confusion later. And I may even add, since I might have more chair upholsteries saved as swatches in later projects, I might call this pink linen chair upholstery. And I'm going to go ahead and save it here. Now, we've already done some preliminary checking on the size of the swatch to make sure that it's good quality when we found it and saved it. But the other way that you can check if you, for example, get a great swatch that you want to inspect is to just go to the folder and look at the properties of the swatch itself. So I'm going to pause and go over there now. So now you can see I'm looking at my folder, and you can see here the swatch. And as I hover over it, you can see that when it went from saving it from the Google image that we came across with that was 1200 by 1200. Now in saving it in PowerPoint, it comes down to 540. And you can see that here, those dimensions. And that means that it's gotten significantly reduced in size and image quality, but that's okay because we don't need a super, super high resolution swatch, because this is going to be very little in our very small relative size within our rendering. And the dining chairs are only going to be seen certain parts of them. So a smaller version of the swatch will work, but if it was really small, like 100 by 100, that's not going to work for us. So we can see there, we can also right click and look at properties. And if we go over here to details, we can start to see the dimensions and the resolution here. So it's 72 DPI. Now, this will work perfectly for us because, again, we're thinking about this, how much of this swatch we're going to see in our final rendering. But if this was something that was a really big part of our rendering that we were going to see a lot of, this saving method would not work. We would have to find a higher resolution file that was already made into a JPEG. And that would be what we would have to use for this. But right now, using the Google method where we just find something that works that we can save, this will work just fine for us.